Wicked, the beloved Broadway musical about Elphaba, the outcast, and Glinda, the popular girl who become best of gal pals. Given that this became a hit with us sapphics because of the delightfully queer subtext, I simply had to watch the recently released movie to see just how gay they would let a big budget blockbuster get. The answer? Well, let's dive in. Wicked is the story of how Elphaba became the Wicked Witch of the West that we know from The Wizard of Oz, and poses a central question of whether evil is born or it is made. Elphaba, born with green skin and magical abilities, is an outcast. When her magical abilities catch the attention of Madame Morrible when dropping her young sister Nessa Rose off at Shiz University, Madame Morrible insists Elphaba enroll to be personally tutored by her, as magic has become exceedingly rare in Oz. Elphaba finds herself rooming with Glinda, the popular girl, to both their dismay. They do not get along. That is until one night when the university students are having a party. Glinda sees Elphaba in a whole new light, leading to a powerful friendship. This friendship is put in jeopardy, however, when Elphaba realizes she must make a stand for the animals who are being targeted as part of a concerning wave of bigotry growing in the land of Oz. Wicked the movie was based on the 2003 Broadway musical, which itself was based on the 1995 novel Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. This was inspired by the 1939 movie The Wizard of Oz, which was based on a musical that was based on a book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, from 1900. In short, the novel Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West is fan fiction, and as any good fan fiction should be, it's pretty darn gay. Not explicitly, it was 1995 after all. Instead, it was written in just such a way that it seems obvious to those who care to see it. The author, Gregory Maguire, is a gay man, and so having the subtext be intentional is not a reach. That, and I saw this photo of a book he signed, and while the inscription of Gelfie is real, Gelfie being the ship name for Elphaba and Glinda, confirms that we aren't seeing things. But even without the confirmation, there are passages in the book that point to this intention, such as, "She put her face against Glinda and kissed her. Hold out if you can," she murmured, and kissed her again. "Hold on, my sweet." Did they kiss on the lips? The use of my sweet as a term of endearment suggests yes. Or, she could scarcely dredge up an ounce of recollection about that daring meeting with the wizard. She could recall far more clearly how she and Alfie had shared a bed on the road to the Emerald City, how brave that had made her feel, and how vulnerable too. There was only one bed. She felt brave and vulnerable sharing said bed with Elphaba. Sounds like gay things happened. Alas, neither the stage musical nor the film showed us these and other suggestive moments from the book. The stage show, and therefore the film, perhaps more than the novel, squarely centered the Elphaba and Glinda relationship, and it is how this is done more than anything else that makes the story read so queer.
They do have a real... It's true a relationship. Love. It is true love, which is probably why people are shipping it, you know, because what they build with each other is an unbreakable bond and love. You know?
And trust and truth and like just such a safe space for one another, which is what all relationships should be.
By comparison, the love interest of Fiyero pales to the evident love between the women. I mean, Glinda literally abandons him at the party after she's had what could be seen as her queer awakening because she is so overcome and moved by Elphaba's courage to be herself. They then run away hand in hand to go and talk until the sun comes up and share their deepest secrets. Speaking of that dance, was it not delicious? Elphaba, realizing that Glinda had betrayed her when she offered her the hat to wear to the dance, rallies herself, and rather than making herself small, letting herself be defeated by it, she rises above it. No one in that room understands what Elphaba is doing when she starts her strange little dance while her fellow students laugh, except Glinda, thus revealing a greater depth to her than initially suggested. This moment, when read with a queer lens, shows that Glinda recognizes that she and Elphaba are the same. It's just that Elphaba, with her green skin, can't hide how she is different. Glinda can use the pink ruffles, makeup, and perfectly styled hair as her armor.
But I do think that both Glinda and Elphaba are just different. Both of them are a slight other, you know?
When she sees Elphaba's courage, it seems she forgets herself for a moment and risks ridicule by joining in the dance with her. In so doing, she not only makes space for the weird, ostracized girl to be accepted by her peers, because her status, looks, and popularity give her that privilege, but she also opens herself up to the most profound friendship she'll ever have. Quite besides the general gayness of these two dancing together and the secret language they develop out of this moment, Glinda wiping away Elphaba's tears is such a glorious and tender moment. It hit so hard and so good. I can't remember the last time a movie got hyped and it lived up to the hype, but y'all, it did, and packed an emotional punch in the process. Director John Chu did a masterful job translating the story to the screen with a sumptuous and rich visual tapestry. Cynthia Erivo was sensational as Elphaba, Ariana Grande was delightful as Glinda, and their chemistry was on point. As you would imagine, the singing was amazing, and it boggles the mind that it was all sung live, especially when the grand finale, Defying Gravity, was done while Cynthia was being flung across a warehouse on wires and a broomstick, as well as just how the whole movie felt so diverse and queer, from the casting, the bright and campy world of Oz that pays homage to the Wizard of Oz movie, and as we know, the movie is beloved by the gay community. You may well know that being a friend of Dorothy was used as a code for being gay back in the day. I most certainly noticed that the Shiz University uniform had gender-neutral variations, and was every guy there just a little fruity? Even Fiyero, framed as the manly leading man, was quite happily flirting with guys during his song and dance, and both the boys and the girls were swooning. I'll be honest, I could have done with one less song given the runtime, but also it would be hard to choose what to cut, especially as some of these songs are really quite gay. Even the song Not That Girl, where Elphaba is pining over not being the type of girl a handsome jock like Fiyero would go for, also felt like a song that suggested she is different for gay reasons, or is that just me? The first duet between Elphaba and Glinda is all tongue-in-cheek that plays with the usually romantic trope of enemies to lovers, reinforced by the framing of both of them in bed as they begin this song. Fruity, as were other shots of the ladies, where Glinda formulates her plan to make Elphaba over. They flop down on the bed and there is a close-up of each of them lying there looking at each other. Then Glinda hovers over Elphaba when she removes her glasses. Rather than resulting in the expected transformation of Elphaba into something that is palatable to the mainstream idea of beauty, Glinda has the realization that Elphaba is beautiful as she is, and all she does is place a single rose in her hair. The rose, I would like to add, that Fiyero put in Glinda's hair at the start of the evening and says,
"Why, Miss Elphaba, you're beautiful."
That is lesbian activity, is it not? Indeed, while there are various ways in which the story can be interpreted, the queer narrative fits very deftly, and I will comment further on that in a moment. But while I see a clear sapphic narrative, this is not to undermine the other important themes going on. Elphaba's green skin is an easily perceived commentary on racism, and having a black actress play the role highlights this further. She is treated as ugly because of her green skin, while Glinda with her perfect blonde hair and non-green skin is held up as beautiful and desirable, speaking to the real-world standards of beauty that center white feminine womanhood. By using green skin to represent Elphaba's ostracization from society, it also allows anyone who feels othered to identify with her character. The story of the animals who are being ousted from Oz society, their voices muffled to the point that some of them lose the ability to speak, comments on how excluding marginalized voices disempowers them. Dr. Dillerman and the monkeys of the Wizard Palace made this point in such a heart-wrenching, vivid way so that Elphaba's choice at the end of the movie is only too easy to understand. She has been primed for this decision her whole life because she, like the animals, have been pushed to the margins of society. She can, as a result of her own life, not just see but intimately identify with their experience, and she knows she can't keep quiet about it, leading to the realization that she no longer wants to conform to society's expectations. Glinda, on the other hand, coming from her privilege, is not ready to follow where Elphaba is going. She can't quite make the same leap because why would she? She's comfortable within the existing power structure. She is advantaged by it, and so we only ever see her taking token steps to supporting the rights of the animals, notably with how she changes her name from Galinda to Glinda, referencing how Dr. Dillerman, given his physiology, is unable to pronounce her name properly. For this token show of support, she is applauded by her peers for being such a fabulous ally. At the crucial moment when Glinda could be a true ally by joining Elphaba to fight against the treatment of the animals of Oz, she doesn't. This moment, in addition to being a commentary on privilege and allyship, also suggests a queer narrative of comp het or compulsory heterosexuality. As Ariana said,
Glinda might be a little in the closet.
I've already mentioned how Glinda runs away from Fiyero, the man she says she wants to marry, to stay up all night talking to Elphaba, tangibly showing which relationship is most important and with whom she connects the most. She then proceeds to hold Elphaba's hand and hang off her arm for the rest of the movie.
As you said, Oz is a very queer place.
Every day in the Emerald City is a pride parade.
Oh my god,
right?
yeah.
I mean, look at like...
That's actually great.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Even like the chickens Those
Snow
chickens
leopard with
are
the little
gay.
cape.
The evident joy of finding the diversity of Emerald City is something both girls feel drawn to. In comparison, Glinda's relationship with Fiyero is based on superficialities because he is the obvious choice, the person she should want. Certainly not because we've seen any genuine connection between them. Because she is not ready to step outside of the familiar and comfortable societal structure she has not only been shaped by, but has benefited from. For a moment it looks like she might when they sing, "Together we're unlimited. Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been, Glinda. Dreams the way we planned them. If we work in tandem, there's no fight we cannot win, just you and I defying gravity." But she is not ready, and it leads to a poignant moment between them where, with tears in their eyes, Glinda places a cape around Elphaba to keep her warm. Although they are choosing different paths, there is also a deep love between them, and it absolutely got me. As the emotional climax of the film, it was profound, heart-wrenching, and perfect. So clearly, I loved this film, and it is every bit as queer as I had hoped, and perhaps I shouldn't have been surprised because it is woven into the fabric of the story. I'm just glad that this big blockbuster didn't shy away from leaning into it. Between this and Marvel offering up its gayest outing with Agatha all along, it has been quite a moment for gay witches in the final months of 2024, and there is something hopeful in seeing these queer depictions being offered up in mainstream media at such a tumultuous time. Until next time, lady lovers.